When it comes to dating, it seems like women are attracted to the bad boy type, which at first can be alluring and enticing, but as the relationship progresses, it can be emotionally abusive. Author Randy Susan Meyers is here to discuss her book, Accidents of Marriage, and explain to us why women seek out this type of man. Welcome to the show, Randy.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I think you should define what a bad boy is for us.
Well, I think everybody finds their own bad boy, but in general, from my point of view, it's somebody who takes refuge in treating people meanly. And for the woman, it's trying to both save him, change him, and be enticed by him.
And that's the attraction?
The attraction is what we see on TV all the time. We are just, it's constant. It's everything from Cool Hand Luke to James Gandolfini playing in The Sopranos. I recently rewatched Cool Hand Luke. Paul Newman's still sexy. But I got to tell you, you don't want to marry that guy.
Probably not. So you've dealt with bad boys your whole life, going back to your childhood.
Well, my dad, who was very kind to me, he and my mom were divorced. He tried to kill my mom when I was 4 years old. And that kind of thing gets really inculcated into you. And
Sure.
I have a PhD in bad boys. I really went after them for a long time.
So what happened when these bad boys grow up and they become men?
Well, they're used to getting what they want, and so what might seem like a smoldering, sort of distant thing becomes a yelling, screaming, getting what you want thing, criticizing, swearing at you, pounding on things, and getting you so that you're twitching, and you can tell by the sound of the doorknob what your night's going to be like.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what made you turn to writing novels? Obviously, you have an extensive background in this.
I always loved writing. Writing's always been my first love. Reading is my first love. But I spent a lot of time raising 2 kids as a single mom. I had my kids very young, and I often worked 2 jobs at a time. I went from bartending to working with batterers to running community centers. Then I had time when they finished college.
I see. So set the book up for us, Accidents of Marriage.
Maddie is married to Ben. Ben's a lawyer, and she was attracted to his fiery passion that was all put on behalf of his client. And she's a social worker. And now that fiery passion has turned to anger directed towards her.
Can you base this on anything that you might have gone through your life, or is it completely different?
Well, I think every author brings up emotional resonance from her own life, and any writer who says they don't use any of their own life is lying through their teeth, so you know that right now. But I worked with batterers for over 10 years who were ordered. They were adjudicated to a program I worked in, a batterer intervention program. So I really got to know bad boys inside and out. Plus, I was a bartender for 5 years.
Well, that brings a whole different, right? A whole different
that brings
story
a whole
to it.
Another side of it.
Well, let's ask you how women can avoid accidents in their own marriage. Is there something you need to look out for?
There are things. You should look out for constant criticism, for yelling, for defending the yelling. One of the biggest signs that somebody is emotionally abusive or physically abusive is that they always feel the victim. Everything that happens is somebody else's fault and never their own. Claiming they're using truth when they're telling you how fat you look or how ugly you are. Basically unloading their life on you.
And then on the other hand, what traits should women look for in a man if they want to make good decisions here?
I would say look for somebody who's kind and responsible. Let's make the Atticus Finches of the world, the sexy guys. Choose a guy who's going to be your friend, not one who's going to be your lifelong home improvement project.
That's true,
Yeah.
because they don't really change once you marry them, right? Isn't that the lesson you learn?
That's a huge lesson, and women always think that they're going to change. And one of the things that you can look out for is a man saying, "You're the only person in the world that understands me." One of the things I learned working with the batterers is that they knew that was a line. And if you're the only person in the world that understands him, run.
That's good advice there. Tell us more where we could find your book and some more information.
The book can be found anywhere online, all the bookstores. It's a independent books, indie-bound choice for September. It was in People magazine last week, and so I think you can find it everywhere.
And you're coming back to Connecticut, though. You have some visits.
I am. I'm going to do a luncheon at Bank Square Books in Mystic on Monday and at Hickory Stick Bookshop in Washington Depot on Tuesday.
Very good.
I'll be doing a little lunch in Connecticut.
Very nice. Well, nice to have you here, Randy. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me.